Hola a todos. Bienvenidos al podcast de los pintores, en donde estaremos hablando de los desafíos que pasamos como una compañía hispana en la industria de la pintura. En la industria de la pintura. ¿Cómo están, muchachos? Nosotros somos los pintores. Yo soy Juan.
Y José.
Y José de los Pintores Podcast. Hoy tenemos a Jason Phillips. So today we have Jason Phillips here with us from...
Jason Phillips is from the Dallas, Texas area. Am I correct, Jason?
So Jason, please introduce yourself and tell us a little short about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm glad to be here. I'm Jason Phillips, and that's correct, from the Dallas area of Texas. And my company is Phillips Home Improvements. We've been in business since 1997. I know that's quite a hot minute there. We started out in painting, and we also do gutters and roofing, all residential.
Right. Well, Jason, trust me, you everywhere we go, we all know Jason. You're such a charismatic guy. Always so ready to help someone. We were recently in Texas, and we heard a lot of stories about Jason, from Cooey, from a couple other painters in the area, and it just like the gatherings, the lunches you guys have. And
just to give you an idea, you know how they say Texas is big, right? And
Yes.
Guess what? Everybody that we met over there, almost everybody there knows Jason Phillips. They know who Jason Phillips is.
Imagine how powerful that is for your business, Jason.
Man, I just honestly,
Right?
guys, I just want to help others, because I've got a lot of battle scars through the years, and I know the pain of running a home improvement business and trying to grow your business. And I just want to help as many others as I can and be a resource to the industry.
Awesome, man.
And you are like, you're setting the pace, man. Like, I know, like I said, it feels so good. We run into some of the guys that we just met, and they talk about you. I'm like, wow. So Texas is really Texas knows how to do it.
I'm gonna be honest. I was a little upset with you guys, because y'all came to my state and didn't tell me. I found out too late, or else I would have driven down there to hang out with you guys.
Jason, I told you Texas is too big.
No, yeah, no, and we do, but sometimes things just happen so quick and they go. We ended up meeting with Fred Hamilton.
Yeah.
And it was more like he was calling my phone, and he's like, "Hey man, I know you're coming, and like we would be nice to get together. We're nice to do this." And then Cooey called, and he's like, "Hey, let's get together." And towards like this is the last minute, and like at the end of the day, we saw Cooey for like a few hours in the afternoon. Fred it was around, but just between being there for a day.
But we're going back
2 days.
We're going back over, like I said, we just gotta wait for the right temperature, because we do not do so well on that high heat, high Texas heat.
It's hot right now. That's for sure.
Dallas is going to be next, okay? So we were talking about struggles earlier, right?
So I know we were just talking about your son, the story, and what really changed. It just did a shift, right, in your life and in the mindset, I think, at the end of the day, because you were doing a great business at the moment for at your capacity. But I think there's something that we always talk about. Is like, you can have all the tools and you can have everything at your reach, but if your mindset is not there, you won't be able to take advantage of them, right? Is that kind of like the moral of the story?
Well, yes, that's definitely part of it. Our mindset. If we are thinking like a technician or a fireman or a salesperson, we're always going to gravitate towards those things. We need to be thinking like a business person. Are we in this because we just want a job? Do we just love painting? Do we want to be climbing the ladder until retirement? Maybe you do. I don't know. That's not wrong if you do. I'm not any younger. I'm not getting any younger.
No, but I think what really did it for you was your kids, right? It's like, is this
100%.
really what I'm doing this for? You know, it's like, so something changed in there, and that's something that changed that really gear you. And for you, it was your children. For other people, maybe whatever in their life, but it's just that, is this what we're doing this for? Because a lot of times we get so caught up into like, it's just, I just gotta work, I gotta do this, I have to have, I don't know, a car, I have to, I don't know, some kind of image. But when you
Keep my
create,
guys busy. A lot of people
right?
like, oh, I had to keep my guys busy. That's
But
why
for
I had
you,
to
it
work.
changed.
Yeah. So think about this. There's so many people that give everything to their business. Hey, I've got to keep my people fed, which is true. But guess what? If you went out of business today and took on all the debt and you go bankrupt and you're in bad shape, your people, they would get another job in a very short time. And the
Exactly.
one that's carrying all the risk is the business owner. Okay. We're not, our business does not exist to provide people jobs. Providing great jobs and a great
Oh, okay, I
workplace
want to hear this one.
is something that we should do. We need to make, okay, look, we need to start. What do I want out of my life? We need to design a business that serves our life purpose, not conform our life to serve a business, because that business is like a hungry fire. Your time is like pouring gasoline on it. It's never going to say, hey, no more gasoline. Please don't give me any more of your time. It's going to suck it all up, all of it, and then some. Okay, we need to design a business that works for us. Now, having said that, if we really want time, money, and freedom, we're most likely not going to do that as a solopreneur. Time, money, and
That's
freedom
true.
in this business is going to take a team. Okay, it's going to take a team. And if you want to build a team, you've got to be a good leader. And it starts with being a man or a woman of integrity, of ethics, someone that has a vision of a greater future and invites people, hey, come on, we're going to build a better future. Here's what that looks like. Do you want to be a part? Well, guess what? Great people aren't going to follow a weak leader. Great people aren't going to follow a person that doesn't have ethical standards. They're just not going to do it. And you're going to attract people that are like you. If you have cracks in your armor, maybe areas where you don't tell the truth, or where you cheat on your taxes, or you water down the paint, whatever it is, your employees are going to see that. And so if they see that, you're going to attract that kind of people. That we interview people at my company all the time. Hey, why are you leaving your current job? Well, the leadership and the management, my boss, they have character issues, and I don't want to work for a company that's dishonest. I mean, do you want employees that cheat you? Well, don't cheat them. Don't cheat your customer. Be a person of integrity, of ethics. And if you're going to build a team, we have to be growing as a leader forevermore. You never quote, get there.
True.
People are going to believe in the leader before they believe in the vision. They're going to believe in that before they
That is
believe in your
true.
company.
You have to.
True.
That's true. So I think that, you say, so you've been in this business since 1997, correct?
That's when I started.
So let me ask you this, a little bit of your background. I mean, so what is Jason's background? Like, what got you into, starting a business, like
Great.
especially the painting business, or was
Okay.
it the painting business first?
Yes, it was the painting business first. So back in the day before this is early 90s, I had some friends that I went to church with who had a residential
Right.
painting company. And then they started painting multifamily, traveling around, painting apartment complexes and rehabbing those. And their residential painting company, they asked me to come on and sell for them. Well, it turned out I was doing more than selling for them. I was basically running everything, and I knew nothing. I got like 10 minutes of training on how to quote an interior. I kid you not, 10 minutes max. And I had to learn everything myself, and they handed me a stack of envelopes and said, hey, here's the bills. Don't pay these until you get the second past due notice. And so, so I didn't really learn. I learned about business, but I didn't learn how to run a good business. But anyway, they
Not to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they were good guys, but they were selling at some point they were selling the business to another man. And the other man uh came on and he was running it into the ground. And guys, I saw a lot of mistreatment in the industry from people like me. When I finally quit, I was 6 weeks behind on paychecks. I saw false advertising in the industry. I saw broken promises. I saw promises. I'm like, I would see what other companies were doing for it. And I'm like, wow, why in the world would you do the project this way? It literally would have cost you another dollar to do it slightly different. And that's when I came up with the thing of, I need to do this the way I would do it if it was my mom's house. So I designed everything I did. Like, if this was my mom's house, this is the
Makes
way I would do
sense.
it. And I saw
Doing it
the
the right way.
mistreatment of the workers, a lot of them, immigrants. And I absolutely hated that. And I was at the end of my ropes. I was, my wife and we were so broke. We were going to our parents' house, getting groceries out of their pantries. And one day, my original friends that hired me, they came to me and they're like, Jason, so and so over here, he hasn't paid us a penny towards the contract yet. We think he's running the business in the ground, and we think you could do this on your own, and we care about you. And we just want to give you our blessing that if you want to go do this on your own, we're going to support you. And they said, if he closes it down, we'll give you the name and the phone number and all the advertising and stuff. So I went and I talked to my advisors, my pastor, my parents, and such. And with a lot of prayer, I really felt that I needed to take this opportunity instead of another one I was pursuing. I was pursuing an opportunity in the computer business, but I had a moment that I knew this is what I needed to do. I needed to come raise the bar for the way business was conducted in my little part of the world,
Okay.
and make a difference. So that's why I started my business. And so one day I went down to the office supply store, had a few dollars left on my Visa card, on my credit limit, bought a printer copier and some paper, and printed up some flyers and business cards, and went out on one sunny spring afternoon and knocked on like 300 doors and made 4 appointments. Came back that evening, sold one, sold the other one on Monday, and had a crew lined up, and boom, I was in business. I I knew I was there to
I
make
was
a difference.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna ask you, did you had any employees at the time or?
No, the crew I was working with was a subcontract crew, so I didn't have any employees. It was just me, and I did do the carpentry repairs because they weren't equipped to do the carpentry repairs. And so,
Okay.
I didn't really know much about business. I knew how to sell. I knew a little bit about marketing, and so boom, there we
Right.
go, and had some pretty quick success. And then before I knew it, I had all these plates in the air. I'm trying to spin them, and it just got to be too much after a short time. And I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I can work hard. I can get a lot of stuff done, but at the end of the day,
Right.
later on, my family was paying, and that's when I decided I needed to make a change.
So how far into your business was this, you say, that
Well,
changed then?
that change was about 3 years in. And, anytime you're in business, you hit these milestones or plateaus or ceilings. And
Plateaus? Yes.
there was one where, I'm like, man, I've got to hire some people to help me sell. And so I started hiring salespeople, and I hired people to answer the phones and enter the bills and this and that. And, but it kept growing. All the systems I made were right here. Everything was here. I couldn't take a system and give it to someone else and let them run with it like it's a baton in a race. So I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to,
yeah, that's
you know,
correct.
so if I train this guy and I train this guy and I train this guy, well, now I'm busy doing other things. Now the new guy that gets to be trained is not trained by me. He's trained by a guy that I trained. So if let's just say I have 100% of the skills and knowledge, and I train the next guy, and maybe I give him 70% of what I have, and he gets it to 70%. Well, then when he trains the next guy, that next guy maybe would get 70% of his. Well, 70% of 70%
Wow.
is 49%. And so, but the further it got away from me, the worse it got. It's like a copy of a copy of a copy. And that's why, I didn't have
True.
things written down and here's the 10 steps on how we do this. And I didn't have those things. And so when we got up to be, I don't want to say I had no systems, but we were doing, well in
No.
excess of $10 million in revenue. And we kept hitting the ceiling again. So there's all these different ceilings you hit, and you've got to act different. You've got to think different. And it all starts with the owner. And if whatever strengths you have as a person, your business is going to have those strengths. Whatever weaknesses you have as a person, your business is going to have those weaknesses, especially until you understand how to build a team with the right players that are different than you in each position, that are specialists in their position. You two, you guys already have your, who does what, right? But a lot of guys, it's just one
Working
man
on that, but yeah,
but it's just one
yeah,
man.
it's true.
And that one guy has to be pretty good enough at everything. But when you try to give everything your time, or even half of everything, maybe in your case, you still can't be an expert in everything because there's not enough time in the day to do it. So as you hire people, you want to begin to specialize and give people a responsibilities thing, have ownership of, maybe it's ownership of marketing, ownership of sales, ownership of project management, of inventory, whatever it is. And then they can specialize their time and they can get way better than you were. And that's, that's one of the keys when you want to build a team is it when it starts with being a good leader, a person of integrity, a person of character. Well, now, okay, let's talk about building a team. Back when I was hiring people, I had a very small network of people, and I was almost begging for people to come work with me because I was so overwhelmed. And it's kind of like, hey, let's put a mirror under their nose. If they could fog up the mirror, you've got a job. And so I ended up hiring some bad people, ended up hiring some good people. Well, but what I didn't know is that other people weren't built like me. They didn't work like me. They didn't think like me. And I would put a good person in a role that wasn't good for them, and they would have lackluster performance. I would be dissatisfied with them. They wouldn't be fulfilled in the job, and the whole thing would blow up or burn out. And it wasn't until I learned about personality styles, disc profiles, that it opened up a whole new world of understanding in my life, in my marriage, in my parenting, in my leadership, and running my company. I'm a hard driving go-getter guy. I need people. I need to appreciate and attract and work with people that are different than me. Okay. You don't want someone like me working your accounting department. You want someone who's consistent, slower paced, and thorough running the payrolls. Okay. And so in each position, you need to begin to specialize, but it's not just the skill set. It's, can you do the job is one thing. Will you do the job is another thing. What do the thing that we tend to procrastinate on? Go ahead.
So let me ask you something. When and because I think this is a question that a lot of us still, painters, how do you know when you're there? How do you read those signs? Because we get asked those questions like, because you have this, and we'll tell them, it's a painful process, but can you pinpoint, like, when is a point where you reach that point where, like, you have to do it? I know then you have to move that, and that's the mindset, but can you work with that?
To do what? To hire someone, or
to grow that business, to when you come, because every time we talk to someone, they're like, well, it's easy for you to say when you have, let me rephrase this. A couple of years ago, we saw, we started looking into businesses, how they did their processes. And for us, it was very hard to say, okay, I want to hire someone. The problem is that we didn't even know who to hire or what we needed.
I think we were looking in the wrong place. We were trying to hire a painter to be like a project manager. Now, a year after, we found a project manager, right, that is not a painter, but he's a great, great project manager. And for what I hear from you, that's kind of what it sounds like. You know, sometimes you're looking in the wrong place for the right person.
That's a
Am I
very common
correct?
mistake in business. 100%. Companies, managers, owners will take a person that is a great performer as a technician, whether it's a, you
There
know,
you
a
go.
painter or even a salesperson, and they promote them to manager. The skills and the thinking of a manager are completely different than the technician. You don't need to be an expert technician to manage technicians. You probably need to get some fluency, but you're now in the business of people rather than in the business of painting. You're in the people business,
Painting, exactly.
managing systems, leading people. And I talk to guys all the time who have done this very thing. They've taken someone that was doing great, they promote them to management of some sort, and then all of a sudden it tanks and they end up losing the person altogether and everybody loses. It's all because they put the person in a role that was not a good fit for them, or they weren't, let's just say they weren't prepared for it at the time. That is a real thing that happens all the time. Matter of fact, I've got a friend right now who hired a project manager, and he promoted a painter to a project manager.
Oh, promote it up.
From
And
within.
yeah, from within, and it went terribly. He had to let the guy go, and now he doesn't want to trust. He doesn't think he can trust anyone anymore, and he just wants to do everything himself. And he's stuck in contractor prison.
But do you think that, I mean, we went through the same problem. You know, we promoted a guy that we had within our company, and he had the, you know, the charisma and everything, but he is not a manager, you know, he's a painter. And so we went through that. So I guess you're going to make mistakes, you know, you're going to trial and error. You know, sometimes someone maybe look so great and then you're what, a month, 2 months into, and you're like, I don't know, you know, some people are not trainable, and we have to, I guess we have to understand that. And there's got to come a point where like, okay, it didn't work out, you tried it, now you move on. But it is super great to educate ourselves as business owners before we do these moves. I mean, do we want to? I mean, that's what we recommend here. That's what we really trying to push for. But how do we get into that mindset as a painter? Because I keep going back to it, because years ago we were in that position.
We were in there.
But we're like, no, like, how are you telling me this? You're like, when we used to talk about things, and he used to be like, oh, you're talking to me in like some other language, my brother. And I'm like, no, this is what I heard. And so it's those, how do you fight that stuff, you know?
But I think for us, something that helped a lot was like, I don't like to be typing. Like, I get distracted really easy. And if I'm typing an estimate, it's gonna take me forever. You know, if, you know, filing paperwork, I'm like, I think there's a person who's really good at filing. And I'm like, you know, or, you know, at the office stuff, you know, they're great at what they do. And guess what? They're specialists at that. So again, we invested in the right people, the right pieces in the business, right? It's like, that's something that's probably my weakness, and I don't want to work on my weakness. I'd rather, you know, hire somebody, put that, you know, that person in charge of this department, and then us, you know, keep working on the rest of the stuff. You know, like right now we have our project manager 6 months after.
Almost 9 months. We always keep putting like, we keep telling him he was 3 months.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
After
It's
like 6 months,
yeah,
he's like,
9 months.
hey guys, I've been with you guys for like 6 months. Now it's like 9 months, and you're still telling that it's 3 months. Come on, man.
Work on your strength. 100%. Don't feel bad about your weakness.
Yes.
Hire someone that's their strength.
Exactly.
And that's one of the
Thank
keys
you.
right there. Don't feel bad about it.
Let me
There
ask you,
is
Jason.
someone that loves doing that
So,
part.
I mean, how about you? What's one of your weaknesses in your business right now?
I don't think Jason has a weakness.
Oh, no, I have.
What do you? I don't know. Tell
have
me, please.
many.
Are you human, Jason? Please tell me.
You know, in my business or me personally, or probably
I mean,
both.
it has to do with, well, both. Let's
I'll tell you.
both.
I'll tell you what it is.
Let's do business, and then after
Okay.
personal, please.
My tendency, and this rolls over into the business. Okay.
Okay.
My tendency is to jump in and do something myself when in reality, that's not what the business needs me to do. The business needs me to find something and get a champion on the team to do it and run it, not me. And, for instance, we were about to do a new sales presentation software. I asked the team, I said, hey guys, here's the vision. Here's what it needs to look like. Here's what we need to do. I can't do it. I'm looking for a champion. And one of the guys is like, I'll do it. Boom. He did it. But there's other times when I want to polish something up and give them a perfectly working system that they can use. And I can't, there's not enough of me to go around to do those things. And so if I'm working in the trenches, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not doing the high level things that nobody else can do. My job as an owner, your job as an owner is, if you can delegate it, you better delegate it. Because if you do something that you can delegate, then you're not doing something that you can't delegate. Does that make sense? Don't feel you don't feel like you've got to pick up the paintbrush so that your guys don't think you're lazy. I don't want my guys to think I'm lazy. I need to get out there and get on the ladders and paint with them. Okay.
That is very true.
I used to think like that.
No, but that's the natural tendency. We've got to forget that, because every time you're doing that, I mean, it's one thing to go to show them that you know how to do it. Okay. Hey, look, I know what I'm doing.
That's
I'm going to show
true.
you how it's done.
It's my
Okay,
ego. I
fine.
got,
Okay.
yeah.
But there's other important things. You need to grow as a leader. So you need to be learning. You need to be attending seminars. You need to be learning about marketing, about sales, about business systems, finance, all of those
Sales.
other things that have nothing to do with cleaning paintbrushes or mixing paint or applying paint. These are things that are universal across business, and they don't matter whether you're painting, or in our case, roofing, or installing gutters or building swimming pools. Okay. There's marketing and sales and people and leadership and management, finance, those type of things. And those are the areas where business owners need to grow.
What do you think is something easy? So I know there's books. I know there's a lot of resources nowadays. Back in 1997, we started in 1998. I started painting in 1998. So we barely had phones, we don't have a lot of like pictures, a lot of record, a lot of that stuff, because nowadays we're so spoiled.
Well, back then we didn't even have a computer.
Yeah, but
Right.
I don't think I had a computer.
I don't think we had a computer back then.
So, back then it was hard, and there was still systems implemented in the businesses, but now it's made it so much easier for us. All of our valleys are the top of our mountains, right? So we get to a mountain, we get to the top, and then now we're looking at the other one and we're like, God, how would we ever get there? So what helps you now? Like, I mean, are they books? Are they coaching? Is it seminars? Where do you go to now for that inspiration and that help?
All of the above. I attend
Yeah,
probably 6 or 7 seminars or summits or industry events every year. I'm a part of other small groups. I read a lot. I reread books, because the books I read, I don't want the knowledge.
okay.
I want them to transform me. And I read a book, I'm like, oh, I need to go do this. And so I'll go back and read it again.
Do you recommend a book at this time, or do you recommend a book for someone that is right at the transition in their business? Do you recommend a book?
Well, it really depends on which
it,
transition. There's a lot of books that I recommend. And
okay. Yeah,
but
that's right.
If
moving into I'm sorry if I interrupt you, but like the transition into the mindset of like, I gotta do something. I gotta stop doing everything and gotta move forward and create system and hire more
brush down, basically.
So
at that transition.
So there's a lot of books. There's Traction, and a lot of guys read Traction.
Yeah,
there's another popular book which I've read a number of times, which is Michael Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited. That is a great
first one we've read.
Okay, it's worth rereading.
True.
It's worth rereading.
Oh yeah.
And another one that is it's called Crucial Conversations. Most
Crucial
people are not good
conversations.
at handling difficult conversations with their team. And Crucial Conversation
That is very
gives you
true.
tools for talking, to have conversations when the stakes are high, when the emotions are high, you're mad or whatever. It helps you with
Hi.
that. And
Yes.
That's
it's
right.
really transformational. And there's just, I mean, there's a whole slew of books, but those are great. Those are great ones.
I know. Wow.
Another
Thank you.
book that has really impacted me is called Who, Not How. Who,
Who,
not
I heard
not
about that
how.
one.
Okay.
Who, not
because
how.
because my, like I said, my default is, how do I do this? That's how I'm wired.
Uh-huh.
And I'm asking the wrong question. I shouldn't be saying, how do I do this? I need to start saying, who can do this for me?
Yes.
And that is
Okay.
a
I'm writing it down.
that is a great book. I've read that multiple times. You can read, and you should do that. Gosh, we can listen to audio books as we're driving, as we're painting, as
Almost,
whatever.
that's what we do. We don't read. We listen to the
But
books,
that's
but
fine.
you
It's
know, either
getting
way
it,
it works.
yes, 100%. And then obviously attending seminars. You can join mastermind groups. You can hire a coach. You know what you can also do is you can go visit other businesses, maybe guys that are where you want to be. And gosh, it seems like just about every month for the last year, I've had a visitor come in and hang out with us and see how we run things for the day.
We're gonna be
And
next.
We're gonna be next, hopefully, very
so,
soon.
hey, you guys, I already extended you guys an invitation. You're welcome.
No,
And
we already talked. You know, sometimes it's making the time to
Let the
fit
temperature come down a
everything,
little
right?
bit.
I know how it is. I know how it is. But there was a number of years ago, I went to, a guy invited me to his office. He was in a different industry, but still home services. And I went over to his place, and I was so inspired, because things that the path I kind of thought I wanted to go, he was already there and already going. And I was just in awe. I walked in, and I'm like, and talking to him, wow, all the stuff that I dreamed of doing, this guy's already doing it. And I would ask him questions, and he would say, well, yeah, we had a similar problem, and it cost us thousands of dollars, and here's how we handled it. We failed 3 times, and this is how it finally worked. You know how much money that's worth when someone will share those golden nuggets of
Exactly.
wisdom with you? And if you're not
Thank
out there,
you.
if you're not
The
out there
time,
getting
the
those
time that it
things,
saves you.
so I'm like, I
So
don't want to be
so
a
Jason,
stupid business owner any longer. That's what I said.
so Jason, this is why we're big into networking, right? Networking is that's one way for us to get better. I'm like, we can always learn from everyone. Uh, and some people think somebody has something special. That person might think that they don't have anything. Like, no. I'm picking and I'm learning a lot from you, even though you think that you don't have anything. But I'm like, I'm learning a lot from you.
And I think that this podcast and this era where we're at right now has really opened that, to more people, because just a few years back, we didn't have this. So very few people, it was such a small community in that, in the social media department and the podcast. But now that's what's so amazing, that, we can have this conversation with you. Someone's going to listen to this next time, and they're going to be like, I remember Jason said this, and I remember I heard this. That's how we, have done and really moved forward. See, we can go many years into our business and just have the day-to-day, just no future. And then we start like, especially podcasts. I think I went from listening to music in my truck or my car to putting in on a podcast.
Listening to a book or a podcast.
And the things, some of them are so funny too, like you can find everything that you can think of.
But so much knowledge, so much over there.
So I guess we'll come back right now to where back to so right now we're just talking about our podcast, right? And the power of what this whole new, what is a wave of education for us, because we can learn so much because when you have some of the most knowledgeable and smart business owners just sitting down and having a conversation, you can learn so much from that. I mean, there's not enough books, I think there are, that when you can learn from the experience of someone listening to that person for about an hour. I think it's changed us in so many different ways. What is your take on that, Jason?
100%. You know, we were chatting, there's books, there's podcasts, there's seminars. Um, you can go to all these things and those things are great. It's like it's a la carte. What do I want to learn about? And you can also go visit others like we mentioned and see how they're doing things, and you can get inspired. You can take little golden nuggets of wisdom back. And there is one piece that's kind of missing from that mix is we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes we need to invite a person with wisdom to come in and peel back the layers and look in our business and tell us what's wrong. And that can be scary to let someone
That's
in
very,
your
very true.
business.
That is very
Okay.
scary.
It is.
That is very
And
scary because, you know, we don't want to hear it sometimes, right?
and it's one,
Very
it's one thing
simple.
to hire a coach and hey, I'm going to get on a coaching call, and that's great. Okay. You can ask questions and such, but then the next level is literally they come visit you and hang out with you for a couple of days, go on a sales call, see how you run things, look into your accounting software, see how you're doing things. And that can be scary. But if you really want to grow and you're serious about just looking naked, okay, that's a great
Yeah,
way to do it. Have someone
that
come
is
in.
that's
Now again, here's the thing, in our industry, there's a lot of circumstances where the blind are leading the blind. And if you're going to, take someone's advice, if it's not just about, are you going to give them your money, but are you going to trust what they say and act on it? You better find someone
true.
trustworthy that's been there, that has the fruit that you want in your company. You've seen that fruit in their company. And so, but yes, but all to say, all of this networking and all of this, there's so much. How about this? There's no excuse for not growing your business and growing it right. There's no excuse for that.
I think so. If you're not doing it, it's because you don't want to do it, right? I think at this point there are all these different ways to do it. So let me ask you something. So we've heard from you, like we've heard, we've had conversations in the past, and we've heard that you've grown your business to a very high volume, and then you actually came back because you weren't comfortable where you guys were, and cut back and got your systems going. And it sounds like you're in a very like good place. But what is your next ambition? Like, what's your next goal? Like, do you have something in your business or in your personal life that is driving you right now?
Both actually. One, I need my business to continue to thrive and grow
Okay.
while I spend less time there.
And so, sorry, let me ask you something. So when we say about grow and thrive, are we talking about just money wise, or are we talking about what is the expectation of that growth?
Okay, I want internally, we call it double wow, double pow. What that means is double wow means we need to be wowing our clients. And we measure that through the NPS score. And if we're going to wow our clients, we're going to have to start by wowing our own team and making an amazing culture. Last year, we won Best Places to Work in North Texas. And so we've got all these awards. We've really got something
Well,
special.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. It's not, well, it's
congrats.
an honor for me to be a part of what's going on. But so those are the two wows: wow our client, wow our own teammates. And
Okay.
number
I
two
like
is
that.
double pow, which is simple: double-digit revenue growth and at double-digit profits. And if we can continue to do double wow and double
Okay.
pow, it's going to be great. And we're going to do that in a way that doesn't double Jason's headaches. We're going to divide Jason's headaches down because I've got people that are
Okay.
better than me in different departments that can
Yes.
champion things. And I'm going to be spending more and more of my time with my contractor freedom. And we have a private Facebook group. We have the
Nice.
Contractor Freedom podcast. We've got a number of episodes recorded. that's about to be released. And matter of fact, we have a summit coming up this fall here in Dallas, where we're going to bring some business owners in and
Nice.
help them with some very practical things they can do to go back and improve their business right away.
Nice. So do you want to talk a little bit about this contract of freedom since we have you here?
Well,
I mean,
so
what can you tell us?
okay, so basically, the contractor freedom is what you get when you get out of contractor prison. You're in contractor prison.
Right?
If you
Okay.
can't get away from your phone, you can't get away from your email, you're constantly on the job, you're putting out the fires. Every time something goes wrong, your phone is the one that rings. Okay, you're working a lot of hours, your family's not getting the best of you, or your family's getting your leftovers, you're not taking care of your health, all of those things. You're just living life to serve your business. Okay, you're in contractor prison. I've been there. And
Yeah,
you can have a lot of money and still be in contractor prison. You need time and money
that's true.
and to have freedom. You really also need health and relationships and spiritual life as well. But when just about the
Yeah,
business,
that's very
time and
true.
money, okay? And for me, I want to spend my time uh helping others, because business owners are influencers in their family and in their community. And I want to raise up a generation of leaders that are going to change the world. And I'm going to do that one leader at a time. And to me, the most valuable thing on earth is people and relationships. I get all my values right from the Bible. And that's why I care about people. And I really feel for the people that are walking the path that I've already walked before. And I want to help them not have to stumble through the mud puddles in the tar pits that I did. And I
Yeah.
want to help them leapfrog over
Yes.
those and build a better business and become leaders in their business, in their family, and in their communities. And that's what contractor freedom is about.
Wow, Jason.
I like that, Jason.
And honestly, I think, overall, you describe a lot of us. A lot of times, like, the money's great, you want to buy yourself things, you want to have a, comfortable life, but at the same time, being able to do this and come back around, and like you said, you've learned from others in not just the industry, but business owners, great business owners, and for you to come back around and do the whole circle. You're okay, you don't have to do this, but you do this because this is a passion. So now you got to the point where, like, you go to work and you choose what you want to do, right?
That's
And
true.
that, I think, is something that a lot of us really wish, like, it's kind of like a dream, to do that. And I feel that you are in that position. And even though it's not easy, because trust me, you're going to work harder,
It's a lot of
but
work.
it's love work that you're doing right now. And I think
That's
that makes a big difference.
That's 100%. Yeah. I don't like to fish. I don't really like to golf.
Okay.
Okay. I like to build things.
There you go.
And I want to build leaders right now.
Awesome. Nice. Well, hey, man. So I wanted to I just wanted to ask one thing. So how do you see, like, what do you want to ask this?
Yeah. So what are the biggest changes that you see on the industry since you started the business?
Well, I know we just talked about it, a lot of that.
I know we talk a little bit about some of the stuff, about everything that has been changing. So what do you think is the biggest change that you see so far in the industry?
Technology is more at the fingertips
Yes.
of the small business person than it was years ago.
Okay.
There's a number of people literally that specialize in marketing for painters. Paint's always been there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yes.
interesting paints and coatings, and that stuff is improving incrementally, which is great, right? But
Yes.
the in the digital space, the things that can help you build your business are readily accessible. Anybody can have a great voice online. You don't have to have a huge marketing team to have a great voice online now. And I think that's a big change in the industry. Now, but having said that, the way people buy, human nature, that stuff doesn't really change. And so I see a move, and again, the PCA is big on this, and this is again why I got in the industry, was to raise the bar. But there's a move for people to want to take their business more seriously, and they see other guys and they're like, man, wow, I can do that in my business. I can have a life like that. I don't have to be a slave to my business. I want that. Man, I can dream of a better future. Oh my gosh, that's possibility. And so that back to what you were saying, Juan, just with all the podcasts and everything, you get to see what other people are doing. And you're like, wow, I never thought that was possible. I can do that too. And it's inspirational, right? And not sometimes, we need inspiration as
Yes.
business owners. Instead of
I think
working on an
so.
island, our business isn't just fragmented. It's like we're all on an island, and we've got this bravado that, oh, you can't tell
Yes.
me anything. I'm smart enough. I know everything, and I love it. I love it when guys connect with other business owners and they're just like, their eyes just get huge and they're like, oh man, this is amazing. I never knew all this was out here and available to me. It's like a candy store for the business owner. So yeah,
Yes.
the
So if
interconnectedness
we,
is a huge change.
and you know what it does? I think it speeds up things. It can definitely speed up things because if we took 10 years, like back in the days, you would send a letter and that letter will get to its destination in 4 to 5 days, right?
No, it's all
Right now, I can connect with you instantly.
That's right.
Not just you, but anyone around the world. So how cool is that? And something that we talked about, like our business is visual, like painting, even gutters, roofing. It's all visual. Someone can read a whole paragraph, but when you show a nice video, the process of things, and you see, it's everything that you need. So it's really changing and evolving because I think in a business we have to evolve as business owners, as human beings, because the minute that we think that the wheels find the way it is, and doesn't need reinvention, then I think we're behind. Because there's like guys like us that we're like, okay, it's round. How can I make it faster, right?
how
It's
can I
just
make it run better?
and more efficient. So that's
Absolutely.
exactly what this thing is doing for us. So no, and thank you. I think that we'll if you can give us the link, if you have them, share your links like the contract of freedom and so on.
Yes, please.
For us, we'd love to connect, and maybe that will be a good time for us to go up there. And
Oh yeah.
maybe you said it's
Like I
the win
said,
is the fall, so it won't be so hot.
I'm
That's
gonna be
true.
checking the weather.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Now, I think Jason, we started this podcast without knowing anything about it. We're a couple guys, from a different country that started painting for necessity, that just kind of went with it. And 20 some years later, we get into a different mud pit, and somehow we managed to get out of it. And then the next one is a little tougher, just because now it's more personal.
Always looking for a challenge, or yeah, we said trouble, but yeah,
Trouble,
always
but
looking
yeah.
for a
So,
challenge.
thank you so much for being with us, man. Is there anything that you just would like to say as the last words for these guys out here?
Don't wait until it's too late to work on your leadership and people skills. By the time you have a lot of employees, and you have a lot of headaches, you'll wish you would have done it sooner.
True.
Oh,
Guys,
Yeah.
y'all have something
Awesome.
special. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
Thank you
much,
so
man. Thank you
much,
for
Jason.
taking the time. Awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. We'll be talking to you soon. So, thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, buddy. You have a great
Thank you,
day.
Jason.
Thank you so much, Jason.